it? Adam, do you know what it is?
It's a Triumph.
Yeah, 1964.
We're going to pull this head off, and this is the side that had the head gasket that had the issue. So I'm going to quick zip this off and we'll take a look at it. Oh. Okay. Let's take a look at this and see. But let's just put it down on our nice clean workbench we have set up here for us. Out of the way. So, right here you can see that bottom layer, how it's pushed out. Now what we're looking at is a nice clean head gasket failure, which is best case scenario. So there are multiple layers here, and you can see we've got, so this is actually really interesting. I've never pushed one of these, so I'm not really sure what it's supposed to look like. Check this out. So it's split back there where it clamps on the head, but I don't really see any area where it was not clamping. That's actually really, oh, there it is. Okay. So that's really strange. Now, I don't actually know if that's a seal failure or an actual material failure itself. See how it's cracked right around that's where the compression seal is, or the fire ring. But if you look underneath there, it's still there. You can still feel the ridge. So it's not like, I don't know, because I've never popped one of these before, and I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so that's interesting. I guess there's not a whole lot for it to move. It just picks up enough to where the water gets underneath there, and then, it gets out wherever it can. You see, it's how it doesn't want to stay round. That means that it's not round, it's now ovaled. Check this out too. You see that? That's like where when it's not round anymore, that material has to go somewhere, so it starts wrinkling right there. That's really interesting too. Right here where the incident happened, looks perfect. Can't feel nothing. It's still nice and smooth. Everything's nice and smooth. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the head off the other side. I am very happy that there's no damage to the block. Let's check out that cylinder head. So it would have been, let's see, right here. Okay, so best case scenario, we don't even have to clean anything up. I just wanted to check one of the pistons just to make sure that it was sitting even in the bore. I checked it with a caliper gauge. And now I'm all worried that I have a bent rod, so I have to go through and check everything. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is the plan I've devised. So I'm pushing this piston all the way against the wall. And when you do so, this backside is flush with the deck surface. There is no gap there. Check it again, piston forward. Yeah, see, check that out. Absolutely no gap. And check number 8. Checking number 8. Oh, did you see that? The piston like rolled over. Yep, there may have been an issue actually. You see what I'm talking about? On the back side of that rod, if you come up here, you see how there's a gap there? No good. Okay, let's check the other side real quick. So this one just fits underneath. It's stacked at, I think it was 117 thousandths. So that's from the center of the piston to the deck surface is 117 thousandths of an inch. Let's see if I can get this in there. See, 12 thousandths at least of gap. So I run this here, and I've got a gap there. Here's 12 thousandths feeler gauge. That's 12 thousandths. So it's 12 thousandths. I've actually measured it. It's actually 16 thousandths lower than all the other pistons. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drop the pan, visually look at the rod. If I see anything there, then I'm obviously going to pull the piston and rod out. I'm going to check the bearing and make sure that it's not worn out. There's no slop in there. Alright, so since we found out that we've got a bent rod or two, look here, the wrist pin is jammed tight. See, it barely even moves. So I'm just going to go ahead with the help of Easton here. We're going to pull out all the pistons, just inspect them. Got a decision to make. We might probably going to end up rebuilding this one, getting some rods and some pistons, just refreshing, probably doing a touch hone and maybe like a line-to-line coating on the pistons, and just keep running this engine for the rest of the season. But pull these pistons out real quick. Here you go, Mr. Easton. All right.
Thank you.
So we're gonna do a quick analysis. Notice easy play back and forth. Moves like no problem. Remember that one? Now check this one out. Like I'm having to crank on this thing to get it to move. It will not go up and down. It's just jammed in there. So this whole thing is junk. Complete junk. Difference. See? Nothing. Should go side to side. That one's easy. That one I can't even move with my hand. So, and the professional company that built this engine, look at that. That's not even the worst one. Had an issue with just junk so much, and I'll put like a little picture of how much metal came out of this engine. And they said, oh, that's perfectly fine. We had like 1 month before we had to be at sick week, so there's nothing I could do about it. They didn't want to admit that there was any problem with it. They thought that was all fine. But yeah, to me, that's not fine. That is ridiculous. I'm not an engine builder, and the last engine that I built, I was upset because I had 2 or 3 little tiny marks like that in there. Like my bearing looked like this, and I was upset, and I thought that I was a bad engine builder. So yeah, definitely 100% unacceptable. What do you think, Houston?
Unacceptable, man.
Exactly. Even like that one, the little stuff. Terrible. Like it'll finally click once you pull it, but it should just. Yeah. That's a free one right there. No problem. This one, it'll finally go. Yep. Trash.
It's outrageous, man.
Well, this is my fault. This is. The rods are, and the pins being stiff is a tune-up issue. That was detonation. We're talking about how the piston's coming up, it pre-ignites, the flame front comes down as the pistons come up, and they slam into each other. That compresses. Everything tries to squish. That is an unreal amount of force that's trying to push itself down. You got all that rotating mass and all that momentum trying to shove it up. You got all that flame front and all that power trying to push it down on the piston. It is an insane amount of power. So we've got bent rods, we've got collapsed pin bores, we've got, anyways, lots of things going on. So we'll take a look here in the engine, like in the bore. You can see, can you see that?
Yeah, I'll get my phone up. Okay.
Dual phone here. So you've got like your normal cross hatching, and then you can see right there that big groove line. There's lines, like this one's really bad right here. So that's another thing. All that trash in the bottom end or whatever just caught the sides of the piston, pulled all that trash in there, and just started scraping the crap out of it. Like here on the piston, you can see all of that, those vertical lines. This side's pretty bad too. All that scoring, like look at that. That's just where the people who built this engine didn't clean it and just did a terrible job. Bad customer service, wouldn't own up to it. But the rods and stuff, that's my fault. That was turbo leaking oil back into the intake and causing detonation. But the bearings and all that, that's from the engine builder not doing their job. That's all.